if you know, you mentioned market research to someone, they might think of lengthy quantitative questions with lots of yes or no answers or ratings, or one of the most popular research in this case is the conjoint analysis that I apply sometimes to test different product characteristics and their importance. But the crucial job you guys need to do with your startups is asking the question from your prospective customers, what is the job you will hire this product for? And what else can you hire for the same job? And Professor Christensen's team concluded, actually, it's a very lengthy case study he has done. There were 2 jobs they hired the milkshakes for. The first segment was commuters. In the morning, they hired the milkshake to keep them full longer. So in that case, the product improvement was putting vitamins, for example, in the milkshake, or having a thinner straw so the milkshake will last longer. See, the product improvement is not about colors or tastes. It's about, added ingredients and the thinner straw. And the second segment was mothers who came in the afternoon with their kids, and they wanted something really quick and dirty and tasty, so they don't whine in the car, they don't complain they are hungry, they can jump back right in the car and continue the trip. So obviously they didn't want something which is like too large, because they definitely didn't want kids to bring the drinks in the car. So they wanted like smaller sizes with many flavors and thicker straws, so they finish it quicker. So as you can see, the product modifications are totally different for the 2 segments, and they have 2 target segments. Similar manner, it's very important in order to describe your value proposition, to talk to your customers. You can do surveys, but it's super important to ask the right questions. And often you find that your target customer that you thought to be your target customer is not really your target customer, but you have a different segment to talk to. And also it's very important not to make assumptions, because lots of startups and lots of companies think, oh, I am the customer, or I know the customer. And we have so many assumptions. Sometimes we forget to ask the right questions. So let's ask questions yourselves from me, and also try to do a little bit of a warm-up. So imagine a bottle of wine first, guys. So this is your product, a bottle of wine, right? What kind of jobs can you hire a bottle of wine for? Please keep your ideas coming. What is it that you can hire a bottle of wine for?
For happiness.
Sorry?
For happiness.
For? I don't understand. Sorry, your microphone is a bit... Can you repeat that?
Let me write down.
So what is it that you can hire a bottle of wine for? What is the job? Keep your ideas coming. I want to hear from as many people as possible.
I don't know if you can see the chat, so maybe I will read the ideas. We have happiness and relaxation, and to have great time with friends. To have happiness again.
But what is happiness? So make you happier. So you hire it to make you happier, to make you more relaxed. And if you buy a bottle of wine, there was this lady or gentleman who said relaxation, right? So I want to be more relaxed, so I hire a bottle of wine. So what else can I hire for the same job if I want to feel relaxed? What else can you hire for the same job?
Well, actually, I will buy a bottle of wine in order to celebrate an occasion. But with regard to your second question, I would like to say that what else can they hire for the same job? Maybe some other snacks, which goes very well with a bottle of wine.
Exactly.
Yeah. We have vodka on the chat. That's
vodka. Exactly. You can buy a vodka for that, or it for relaxation, but also, for example, you can hire a relaxing Swedish massage, or you can sit in the grass and sit in the sunshine. But if you hire a bottle of wine to make you happy, obviously, but happy is a bit more sort of general.
Yeah.
So, but if you buy a bottle of wine as a present, as a souvenir, then you have other competitors that you can think of. For example, you can also buy a bunch of flowers for the same purpose if it's for a souvenir. But if it's to make you happy, you might think of different options. So you really have to be very clear about the job people will hire you for. Any other ideas? What else can you hire a bottle of wine for? Nothing? Just those?
Yeah, if it's not for the communication happiness, it might be you can buy a bottle of wine to compare with the other bottles of wine to understand which is better. I'm not sure about if it's the right answer. And about the second one, it's yeah, sure. As I've said before, the cheese platter, meat platter, or something with the wine, or when you buy a bottle of wine to you have, I'm not sure in English how it is, the wine opener, is there a specific word for that?
Corkscrew.
Sorry, how was it?
Screw.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry.
Yeah. We have also decoration on the chat. This is actually why I decided to jump in. For some good beginning with someone for appetite.
Actually, I have an idea that, okay, I can buy a bottle of wine for tasting to another person, for instance, a customer. And if he or she likes it, and I begin to sell not a bottle of wine, a container of wine, like to make a business. Just you first taste it to another person. If he or she likes, I begin to make that. Okay, I can have a container of wine. I can sell it, and you can sell it to another country. And another offer, which is about, it was Coke sticker, right?
What?
And what was the name, which is opening the wine? What did you say?
Corkscrew, a corkscrew.
Corkscrew, see, exactly.
Yes.
And I begin to sell also corkscrew near the bottle, like that.
By the way, guys, because I was thrown out by Microsoft for some reason, I wanted to open the chats, but it threw me out. Can you see the presentation now, ladies and gentlemen?
No.
No?
Yes. No. No.
You can't see the presentation.
No, we see just the
For
image.
some reason, I have a. Oh, that's me. Can you see it now? You should.
Yes, now we see.
Right now, yes,
Yeah, back.
you can see.
Great. Very good. So, and can you tell me a couple of examples right now? Tell me, please, if you share your product. So what is your product or service you are selling? And try to also answer the question, what job will customers hire you for? Your startup. So can you please, a couple of teams would be great to volunteer to
Can I
share.
go first?
Please do.
Yeah, our name is ePoint. We're offering online payment solutions for SMEs, and that's basically for what they hire us for. So if they make online sales, we help them to receive payments, and yeah, that's the job we do.
So basically the job they hire you for is to get paid by their customers.
Exactly. Just like PayPal or Stripe, yeah, one of these systems.
And they hire PayPal for the same job.
Sorry, yeah. Also, the PayPal is done only for online payments. We have more functionality. We are like a hub for SMEs to control their expenses, to order delivery for their goods sold via our platform, and etc.
So it's not just getting paid by the customer, but you are managing their finances basically in a way.
Well, the core business is to provide payment solution via their applications or websites or whatever. And and the second service and third service is extra additional services thought for the SMEs, what could be comfortable for them, as well as delivery, taxation and financial reporting, and so on, legal advice. Basically, what they do, or when they sell over our platform through our solution, we give them extra services just to expand, just to make their business more comfortable, so to say. Sorry, I'm forgetting words.
So then again, let me ask you the question again. So what is the job they hire you for?
Receive online payments. So, okay, no, optimize their business online.
Okay, that sounds great. Thank you very much. Another example?
I can't tell if you let me.
Please do.
Hi, Ms. Eva. Thank you so much for giving me a chance to talk to you. By the way, first of all, I would like to tell thank you for such kind of webinar. I think it's so useful. So we are SmilePay. SmilePay is to pay with your face, biometric payment solution. When you are going grocery stores or in the market, you can pay with your face. You don't need any wallet or phone or any cash, anything to pay. So if we could answer this question, what job will they hire it for? We can say we save the time for them, because for example, for the athletes, for people who deal with the sport, or the pregnant woman, or someone has a lot of things to buy, in most cases they are troubling to take their wallet from their bags, or the athletes, they forget their phone, they don't want to take their phone or wallet with them. So it's going to be easy for them to pay whenever they want and wherever they want. For example, if you are going to the store and you forget your wallet, it's done, you're dead. You cannot buy because we started this startup because of that. I'm talking about myself. One day I just woke up at 5 a.m. and I wanted to run. And then when I came back, I just wanted to buy water. And when I went into the grocery store, and I just asked him, may I take the water, and take the water. And I wanted to pay, and I just realized that I don't have a wallet with me. So that's why. That's all about this. So at that time, I didn't have a SmilePay, this startup. So that's why I couldn't pay anything. So that's why I couldn't take this water with me. So it was the pain point there. So I'm saying again, we save the time. Yeah, yes, please.
But who is your customer?
Our customers is the mainly are the ladies, because in Moscow, in our country, the ladies are doing the shop, because they have a lot of pockets to bring to the home, to the house. So that's why they are troubling to
very interesting.
Looking for their wallets, for their cash, or sometimes it's being hard for them. Yeah.
Great. Thank you. Very good example. Very good. And coming from that, this is a very interesting thing. I was asking your colleague, who is your customer? So this is a really important question. Who will you sell to? Who is your target segment? And insight, what we call insight, is the deep understanding of your customers. So however you understand your customers, and if you think of any great company, either a big company or a small company, the common thing is they always build on compelling customer insight, deep understanding of your customers. Let me give you a couple of examples. You can see 4 examples here, and these are very different companies. I don't know whether you know the company of Sir Richard Branson. Probably you have read about Virgin. They started as a record store, and now they have Virgin Airline, they have Virgin Money, it's a series of banks in the UK, they have Virgin Mobile, they have, so many Virgin Trains, dozens of companies, seemingly very different industries. So you would want to think like, why has he picked all these industries? They are so widely different. What is the common thing with these companies? Richard Branson said, I am looking at industries where customers are treated really badly, and I am turning the customer experience over. I provide a wonderful customer experience. So for example, when he started Virgin Mobile, I used to work for Virgin Mobile. When he started Virgin Mobile, he wanted a mobile company, especially for young people, which has a very simple bill, because back then the phone bills were so difficult to understand. So very simple bills, customer support where they answered your call after 3 rings, very simple, easy to do billing, very simple customer service, simple products. So what made Virgin Mobile so successful was its simplicity. And after a while, lots of people, they don't have their own phone network. They are an MVNO. They were running on Orange's network. A lot of people, a lot of new customers signed up to Virgin Mobile because of simplicity and the great customer experience. And the same went for Virgin Atlantic. Virgin Atlantic is an airline, and Richard Branson thought airlines do really bad with customer service. For example, Virgin Atlantic doesn't have a trolley. So the stewardesses and the stewards, they don't push a trolley. They have waiter service. They have a bar, so people are free to walk around. They have a nail bar, so you can have your nails done. So they don't feel like trapped in an airplane, because Virgin Atlantic is about a fun, great, Virgin people call it buzzworthy because it's so buzzworthy, you talk about it, buzzworthy customer experience. So that's Virgin. That's also a great insight, customer understanding. People want a better experience. They don't want to get trapped on a plane. They don't want to have complicated phone bills. So that's a really good example for customer experience. The picture underneath with this gentleman and this fridge is coming from India. And this great gentleman discovered that in remote areas of India, where there is no electricity, it's a huge challenge to keep food cold. So he produced a clay oven. It cost like $20. There is a water container on the top, and it's a clay oven, which is a fridge actually, because the special clay absorbs the sun and transforms it in a way that it will cool the food down. So it's not an oven, but a fridge. It looks like an oven, but anyway, it keeps food cool. The name is Mythicool, and again, it's very cheap. If actually, just for you to know, if there is something which is an old technology or an existing technology, cooling is an existing technology, but to make it available for especially poorer people at a fraction of a price, we call it frugal invention or frugal innovation. That's the correct name for it. So it's a great example of frugal innovation. And it's again based on a very deep customer insight that there are electricity cuts or no electricity in rural India, but people have this desire to keep their food cool so it doesn't go off, doesn't go bad. I promised you very different examples, and on the right corner you can see a product from the website Kickstarter, where companies like yourself, startups, raise funds for their operations. And this company, Amabrush, came to Kickstarter to collect $50,000 to be able to manufacture this device. And instead of $50,000 in 2 weeks, they managed to raise $3 million. So what is it, and what is it that they did well? Amabrush is a device you put in your mouth, you put some toothpaste on it, and in 10 seconds, it does the job what a 3-4 minute toothbrush session will do for you. So it cleanses your teeth in 10 seconds as well as a 3-4 minute toothbrushing session, right? And their key message was, their website had a counter, And it counted how many years from your life you save by using a brush instead of a toothbrush. So the customer insight is that people know they should be spending 3 times 3 minutes brushing their teeth, but they do not have the time. And they are impatient, and nobody wants to spend 10 minutes a day brushing their teeth. So that was their core customer insight, and they put out a really simple product, and it became an overnight success. The fourth example is a very provocative one. It's a big brand called DOVLET. Probably it's available in Azerbaijan as well. It's a really bad product. It's full of petroleum. It's not even good for you. It has a very pleasant smell. What made it a success was their communication. So here is to prove that even if you don't even have a good product, but you communicate well and you understand your customer, you can become very successful. They commissioned the simple market research because the sales were falling, and they put a very simple question. They were surveying ladies, women, and they asked a very simple question. Do you consider yourself beautiful? What do you think? How many especially I'm asking the ladies here, how many percentage of the ladies said, yes, I think I'm beautiful? What do you think? What was the percentage? No one wants to have a guess?
I think no one.
You think no one? Okay.
No, I think no one has
0%. Okay, thank you.
Exactly.
Anybody else? How many percentage of ladies said they are beautiful? What do you think? Give me a number. Don't be shy. Give me a number.
There is a number on the chat, 70%.
No. No. The actual percentage was 4. And then they thought, because they thought it would be like 50, 40, that was their hypothesis, but actually 4% of ladies said, I consider myself beautiful. And then they started a conversation, why is that? What affects the body image so very badly? And obviously they had a lot of research how media and beauty and thin models impact women's self-image. And the first campaign they were doing, you can see here women in their underwear, and that's a very famous Victoria's Secret campaign with wonderful and very skinny models, and they redid it with real women. And the campaign's name was Find Your Real Beauty and Real Beauty. And they displayed, or they imitated or remade the famous Victoria's Secret campaign with real women. And they started a really beautiful, and if you look at YouTube and look at this really very, actually extremely cheap videos, and you can see that even you can have a really good idea. And even if you don't have a large budget, you can make an impact, because if you type in Dove Real Beauty, you can see a lot of films on YouTube which are extremely impactful, super creative, with many millions of views, and you can see with a powerful insight how, and a good creative idea, how many customers you can get to yourself. So these are really good case studies for you guys to see that it's really worth asking the right questions from your customers and get to know them, even get to know them beyond your product. For example, if your target audience is housewives, don't just ask them about your product, but ask them about their daily problems, what concerns them, what impacts them, what else they buy apart from your product, where they go to, where they spend their free time. Because especially in digital marketing, if you think of content strategy, it's really important to find those subjects and areas that really connects with your target segments. Any questions so far, or something you might want to add?
Ms. Eva, I have a question, if you don't mind.
Of course not.
Thank you. I would like to know that sometimes we are asking some questions to customers, but I'm not sure they are being so honest about their answers. What do you think? Is there any shortcut for that we could confront our customers to give us the honest answers? Because even if they, for example, you are asking that, do you like this solution or something, you want to get some positive answers from them. In most cases, I know that they are just not giving the honest answers.
That's an excellent question. Yeah. That's an excellent question, and you are raising a really, really good point here.
Thank you.
And you will like me and hate me at the same time, because hate me because it's a science and an art to ask questions well. And if you ask people, do you like this or you don't, if you are putting up questions which are yes, no questions, so they can answer either with yes or no, usually you don't get much insight. In Professor Christensen's case study with McDonald's, they were asking whether you like this taste, you don't like this taste, and they didn't get anywhere with that. But when Professor Christensen's team asked them, like, what job do you hire this product for, and what else can you hire for the same job? So be very creative and really think about your questions. When we do like market research, we usually don't really ask questions first about our product. First, we like to make the connection with our customers and ask them general questions like, what brands do you like in general? How do you spend your free time? What else you can do when you are not working? So just a couple of examples which are connected to your product, but not too tightly. Just to establish a connection, make them talk. And when you establish the connection, you can ask exploratory questions. Before you asking them the question, do you like the solution? You can ask, for example, you can describe your product and make sure that you are describing it in a way that you have certain elements of your products, and you can ask about certain elements of your products, whether they like it, or can you rate this element of my product on a 1 to 5 scale and talk about it, why it's a 5, why it's a 3, why it's a 1. What else could I do better? Let's look at another dimension of my product. Let's say texture or ease of use.
Thank you for answering that. I think we can take into consideration about the sympathy of the user, because in most cases the customers or the users have some kind of sympathy inside of them, so that's why they are giving the more likely positive feedback. So we just want to to just abandon this part. So thank you so much for your answer.
What is it that you like about this product, and what is it you don't like, you could improve? So I think these general questions, which seems so easy, do you like it or not, they don't lead anywhere.
Exactly.
It's a classic example. We were testing a website years ago for a Swiss company, and they kept asking customers, do you like our website? And everybody said, fine, yeah, we like your website. But we didn't spend a lot of time in it. Because secretly, when you were really getting into the customers and the customer psyche with your questions, it turned out that yes, your website was okay compared to your competitor's website. It was all right, but customers compare websites to their best ever website experience. So they were comparing our client to Amazon. And they were very keen to spend 10 minutes on Amazon, but they were not very keen to spend more than 1 minute on our client side, because the comparison was different. But if you don't really ask the right questions, you don't understand. They liked it, but yet they don't spend much time on it. Why? Any other questions? Okay, let's move on. Imagine you are an investor, okay? And you have 2 companies coming to you for money, right? And you ask the question, who do you sell? And one company says, oh, I am a startup. I do not have a budget to do marketing, so I sell to everyone. And the other startup tells you the following. the most logical way is to get a fragment of a really large market, right? Let's sell toothbrush to China. They have 1. That's a typo, sorry, 1.3 trillion, billion people, 1.3 billion people, not million. They all have teeth. Maybe we will get 0.1% of the market. If every Chinese buys 3 toothbrushes a year and we sell 1 toothbrush for $1, we can sell almost $4 million worth in a year. That sounds great. So what do you think? Which approach would you favor? And please, I would like to hear from as many people as possible. Please raise your hands or start talking. What is the problem, or what do you like, or what you don't like about the first approach or the second approach?
Thanks, Ms. Eva, for asking this kind of question. You know, I don't want to be the only one who answer or tell something, but I think they are just waiting for
what your views are.
Yeah, they may be just waiting for some ideas coming to their mind. So I would like to tell, of course, the second one, analytical approach, is a good one, and also I would like to add this one. If you are making a product, first of all, you need to have marketing research, because you're making it for someone to adding a value. If you don't have a value in your mind, at least you don't have any short the description about your idea solution, it wouldn't be possible to go into the market. So for example, even you are a startup, if you're starting right now, before starting the product, you're just thinking that, okay, this is gonna solve this problem. So I think, and I know around me there are 10 people who they suffer from this kind of issue or this kind of problem. I think it's enough with just a little bit statistics or data to begin with. And of course, for detailed marketing research, you have to have experts, professionals, and other data. Yeah, but for beginning, I think it's the right one that we did before. I'm talking about my experience.
Thank you. Let's hear from the others. Thank you so much. Let's hear from the others. Would you give money to number 2? If yes, why? If not, why not?
I think of the comparing to first one, yes, of course I can invest in the second one, because they know who they sell
you
to.
made your point. That's great. But yes, I understand your point of view. But let's hear from the others. What do you think?
Okay.
What do you think? Would you give money to the second one? Is it convincing for you guys?
Can
which
I
one was
answer?
second?
Sure.
I'm sorry, which one was
Let
second?
the lady, I can't see the name. Let the lady answer. Yes.
Okay, I'm Nigar Ismailova from the Hillway startup. Yes, I want to answer as an investor. Of course, I prefer the second second case because it also it makes the longest period, prolongate the period of selling of the business.
That's true, but would you trust this company? Would you give them money? What is missing? Well,
what is missing? I think maybe they need to more clarification about
what would you ask
consumers.
Them? Great, excellent. What would you ask them?
So who exactly will buy this toothbrush, for example?
Very good. Very good. And what makes them buy yours? Because it's very tempting to buy, and usually these people who produce these numbers, they have really nice spreadsheets as well, so the numbers add up nicely, so it gives you a false sense of security. But who will buy this product, and what makes those people buy your product? And what do you know the Chinese customer at all? Do you know what their habits are? Do you know how they choose toothbrushes? And what is $1 a high or a low price in China at all? Because
there are a lot of questions.
There are a lot of assumptions here. But the key question is what we have. Even if you are expensive, I don't mind, because there is this very famous saying. Do you have in Starbucks in Azerbaijan? Do we have Starbucks coffee?
Yes, we have.
You have Starbucks. There was this very famous saying of Howard Schultz, because he hates market research. He just hates it. He loathes it. And he said, what if I, without Starbucks, or before I set up Starbucks, what if I asked my focus groups, would you buy a cup of coffee for $4? What would have they said? Everybody would have said no, right? But Starbucks is not just about coffee, as we know. It's about a place between home and work. No, exactly.
Yes.
So maybe $1 is not much, so I can't argue for or against it. But there is still the lingering question: what would make Chinese customers to choose your product?
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Thank you.
And this is what's really missing here. And it's super important to understand that. And there is, again, as I told you, I always introduce a new marketing concept. And there is this very famous entrepreneurship professor at MIT. And he introduced this phrase of beachhead strategy, strategy for startups. This is exclusively for startups. Beachhead is a word which is coming from the military language. When the military troops land on a new shore, for example, when the Allied troops landed in Normandy in the Second World War, Normandy was their beachhead because they landed in Normandy, and from Normandy they conquered the rest of France, right? The north of France, right? So that was their beachhead. So basically, Professor Ole advises startups to focus on a beachhead target. So the first smallish group of customers, so not a large segment, who will be your first customers, right? Because you are not a large company to talk to a large market, because you don't have the budget. And even large companies test on small markets first. For example, since I have been living in Hungary, which is a very small market, only 10 million people, right? I have seen Vodafone, Deutsche Telekom testing new products, new marketing campaigns on the Hungarian market, because we are so small, before going live in Germany or in Poland, for example, or in the UK. So even large companies test on small market first. So focus on a well-defined, smallish segment who will be your first customers. And segmentation is very important. You cannot sell to everybody. And during the pandemic, there was, I don't know whether you have seen this silly thing on social media called the Dolly Parton Challenge, when the famed country singer Dolly Parton was having some fun, and she prepared a LinkedIn photo of herself, an Instagram photo, a Facebook photo, and a Tinder photo, right? And she proved that when she's talking to different segments of people, she will position herself differently, right? So who do you talk to when you put a LinkedIn photo of yourself? Who is your target segment? Who is your target segment on LinkedIn?
Job seekers.
Or
lawyers, we can say.
Professional people, right? Professional. So it's a professional community. So you want to look professional, right? And then if you put yourself out on Instagram, who is your target segment on Instagram? Who is using Instagram?
Friends.
Exactly. Friends. And who is your average Instagram user? How old usually are Instagram users in general?
You mean follower or something like that?
Yes, who use Instagram?
Like 300 maybe.
Oh, no. I mean, how old are the Instagram users? How old are they usually?
Young people.
25, something like that.
20s. And usually they, or you, if you are an Instagrammer and you are their sort of target customer, like 20 plus, 20, 30, you want to put a photo which is bit of a model-like photo, like you look better than normally. So your Insta photo is a bit glossier, a bit shinier, a bit more aspirational than your normal photo. This is your polished self, right? And then there is Facebook. So if you put a Facebook photo, who is your segment? Who is your target segment on Facebook?
Friends mostly.
Friends, even family, friends, family. So it's more like, And then Tinder, we all know if you're looking for a casual relationship, you put a photo on Tinder, but obviously you're not going to put your LinkedIn photo on Tinder or vice versa, right?
You never know.
To a different audience. And the same way, and there is, I just put another mix here with Miley Cyrus, who was imitating Dolly Parton, and I don't know about you, but I had crazy friends who were doing the Dolly Parton challenge and were putting different photos of themselves because they were very bored in the COVID isolation. So this is a really nice exercise, positioning yourself to different audiences. And sometimes when you are addressing an audience for your product or for your brand, you are talking to this particular segment. And this is how you need to position your product or your service, depending on who you talk to. But first of all, how do you find your target segment? So when we talk about segment or target, we talk to a homogeneous group of people or companies. If it's B2B, obviously it's companies. And you try to find segments where customers are quite similar. They buy similar products, they have similar life cycle, sales cycle. And ideally, you want a segment where word of mouth is strong. So people form communities. If they like you, they recommend you. So they have a lot of free marketing going on for yourself. And even if you are a B2B company, so you are selling it to businesses, you might want to segment according to the business, but you might even want to segment according to the decision maker. For example, one of my startup companies that I mentor, they sell to companies, but they are targeting the HR director, the human resources director, and they were looking into the decision-making process, the problems, the dilemmas of human resource people, senior human resource people. So when you find your segment, you need to consider, this is I don't know why it's flipped and everything is called first. These are 4 points basically. So how do you find your segments? If I tell you marketing segment and you have studied marketing, first you think of demographic segmentation, age, gender, economic status. If you talk about companies, size of the company, industry. If you use digital marketing, geographic segmentation because of location-based targeting can be like a different aspect. There is another angle of segmentation apart from demographics. You can use behavioral segmentation. In telecommunications, we use a lot of behavioral segmentation, how confident people are with technology, how they use their mobile phone, for example, or you can use it when it comes to toothpaste, like how they use toothpaste, or you can use it for fashion brands, how they use a product, how they make decisions choosing the product. That's also a very popular way of segmentation, behavioral. Also, psychographic segmentation. It's segmenting alongside values and motivations of people. A really good example, you can have 2 housewives, let's say 2 German housewives, both earn 30K per year, both have 2 children, and both drive a Volkswagen, right? So according to demographics, they are similar, almost the same. But when it comes to psychographics, one of them is a mainstream customer. She likes tried and trusted brands. She likes her neighbors. She likes her community. She's perfectly happy with her life. But the other one is an explorer. Secretly, she wants to escape. She wants to see the world. She wants to try extreme adrenaline sports. So obviously, her values and motivations are very different. So this is psychographic segmentation alongside values and motivations. And then because of digital media, we have the social data segmentation, like what kinds of news channels they read online, what kinds of groups they are part of, how many times they share, what kind of comments they make in social media, what emails they receive, what groups they are part of, for example, on Facebook. So social data is, again, very, very important. And you can mix these 4. These are the 4 basic types of segmentation, and depending on your business, you can create your proprietary groups of customers. So before I included a couple of examples, and please read it in your own time. Lego uses, I don't know why the numbering went all wrong. Again, they have 6 segments based on how many times they bought Lego. They have their lead users, their active community. They have people who whose address they know, people who bought Lego once in the last year or bought Lego once. And they also have a segment, because they are a large company, with people who never ever bought Lego in their life. And they have different marketing strategies based on all the segments. What I want you to remember are 2 things, and then we will jump into the discussions. Find your beachhead market. Find it, obviously based on assumptions, with your team, and then validate it. Validation is very important. One of my startups is a great company. They do extremely well. And when they were validated their beachhead, they realized that they have a different beachhead. So the beachhead they thought to be your beachhead is not their beachhead. In fact, they have another customer segment they need to focus on first. Also, when you know your beachhead, gather insights. Ask the right questions. For example, I was working for a beer brand here in Hungary, which is coming from a very poor area of Hungary, the brand itself, but it's quite common. It's very popular in Hungary. It's one of the mainstream beer brands. And we were talking about target customers, target segments. And I was asking the marketing director, they were in a very flashy, beautiful building in Budapest, which is the capital city, but have you ever visited, has the marketing team ever visited the region where the beer brand is from? Have you actually walked into the pubs there and talked to people? Have you talked to people who were the core heritage consumer of your product and asked them about the problems, dilemmas, other products they buy, other issues they are fascinated with? Do you know your customers, your core customers? And it turned out they have never visited the region the beer is from. They never talked to their core customers. They were doing service. They spent a lot of money to commission research companies asking questions whether people like the product or not, and how much they would be willing to pay for that, which is equally important. But they never really talked to their customers. And then again, discussion. And this time I would really like to hear from teams I haven't heard from. Who is your target? Just tell me about your company and tell me who is your beachhead, your core target market, and what is it that you already know about them? What is the insight? And if you manage to talk to them, what is it that really surprised you? What kind of compelling insights, information did you manage to gather about your customers so far? So I would really like to hear from teams I haven't heard of yet.
Okay, if you don't mind, I want to start.
Great.
Beachhead of our startup, our project. So first, let me to tell a sentence about our project. It's Hillwiz, which gives the consulting services for the determination of the diseases and the healing of the diseases in the plants. And I think that beachhead of our project, so the starting market, it will be, it is the everyone who likes take care of the plants. And starting from these people, it's also is useful for this small farming companies and to the big farming companies. And the insight that compels of buying these services, I think that it is that when we take care of the plant, everyone who take care of the plant, we observe some diseases, some problems which we are not informed, as we are not the agronomes, we are not experts in the agriculture. That are the main insights, I think. So we observe the problem and we need the solution of these problems.
And who will be your first customer?
I think that first customers will be the people who take care of plants at their house, the plant lovers.
But I think my suggestion to find a narrower segment. Maybe you want to focus right on the old ladies, or I don't know, old ladies
who lives alone and who don't like to take care of the pets, and they prefer the plants.
Or they consider the plant as their companion, and it's like a daily task for them to look after their plants. And so maybe you will sell to all these people in a short while or in a longer while, but you have to identify first a narrower segment that you want to focus on.
Yes. Okay. Thank you for your suggestion.
Okay, very good, great. Somebody else who would like to share their beachhead market and the insight that you learned about them? B2B is also welcome.
If you want, I can tell something about our startup. It's called Assam Parking, which means easy parking, if we translate it into English, Azeri. Okay, now what we are going to do is, while you are parking your car, you need to go to somewhere to write some, registration number of your vehicle number of your vehicle number of your car, and you have to pay something for the parking. But what we are going to do, we're just doing it with telephone and with QR codes, and you just while you are parking, you just scan your QR code, which is in front of your car, and that's all. And you go. When you come back after 1 hour, 2 hours, it automatically pays the fee of parking. And who is our customers? Our customers will be the people who has a car.
Yes. And who will be your beachhead customer? The ones who will really often use your product, and who will be the first customers who will spread the word about you? Okay.
Mainly, we are thinking that, for instance, if you know about Baku, and Baku is the capital city, which has lots of parking places and parking machines. And in that case, when you are going to park your car in the capital cities, or we can say metropolitans, it's a big problem. We have to find the machine. You have to write vehicle number, registration number, and so you have to pay, and it takes your time, maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes. In any case,
that's a really good insight, that it takes time, it's annoying, right?
Yeah, exactly. And our main beachhead is metropolitan cities. We can say also capitals, and for instance, Budapest.
You can even narrow down. Maybe you can think of even narrowing it. It's really good thinking. Thank you. But you can even narrow it down a little bit. Maybe look at people who drive a lot and who need to park a lot because of their jobs.
Exactly, because as I know that in the big cities, as far as you go somewhere, while you are parking, you have to pay something. But maybe in small cities it's not like that. But in the big cities, it has to be like that, because there is a population lives there. That's our beachhead.
Especially, I would suggest you to concentrate on people who need to do that often. Like they have jobs that require them to go around a lot and park a lot. Because probably they will be the first customers.
Again, could you tell me again? I mean, I couldn't understand the exact point, actually.
I said that if you are talking about people who have a car and who live in metropolitan areas, right, or big cities,
yes,
that's great, but it's not narrow enough to be a beachhead. So I suggest you narrow it down either to people who need to do parking a lot or need to drive a lot because of their jobs and park.
Yep.
Because people, for example, who work in metropolitan cities in shiny, nice offices, they have a garage. So definitely they are not going to be your customers, right?
Sure. In such case, yes.
So you have to work out, because you have obviously a very limited marketing budget, what kind of people you want to focus on first.
Okay. Just while we are thinking about it, we are just thinking about where we have machines for wasting your time. We just change it to save your time.
They want, yeah, but this is usually when they have to look for the machines. It's quite unexpected. Usually they don't calculate that time, right? They don't expect that it will take them 5-10 minutes to find the machine. So it's super annoying. So this is something that they don't really save because they didn't expect that long time anyway. So this is more than like sparing yourself, you know, being annoyed by unexpected delays. More so than saving time, because you save time to those people who already calculated that will take me like 2 hours, but instead it will take me like 1. But this is something usually if you go in the city and you park your car, this is something which is unforeseen. You wouldn't expect to spend 5, 10, 15 more minutes to find the place or find the meter. So you are it's more like stress you are saving them, not time, I think. But this is something that you have to validate talking to customers.
But the thing is that if we can think about, okay, while we have debit cards, while we use debit cards, we say that it was easy to pay. I mean, you just put it in the machine and you write your code, exactly. Right? But now it's like we can say with NFC or with Wi-Fi, something like that. You just take your card and approach it to a machine, and that's all. And the logic is approximately similar to these, how can you say, these thought. And for instance, while you are actually, I live in Italy, and it's something, it came to us from Italy. I mean, because here we have lots of cars in the because it's like a metropolitan and lots of cars here, and while they are parking their cars, and they try always to, and also the tourists, they always to try to find the machines. They don't know the place.
Exactly.
They just go left, go right. Where is the machine? Oh, exactly. I want to pay, something like that. Just you have the QR code in your car. Just scan the QR code and it's all. I mean, the logic is that it's like to pay something with QR code, to pay something with NFC or Wi-Fi.
Great, great.
The similar logic.
Very good. Good. Thank you. Anybody else? Shall we move on then? The next very important part of your marketing plan, and now we are talking, I can prompt this to you, about branding a little bit, because it's the functional and emotional benefits you or your company delivers, or your solution delivers to your customers. And here the key learning is that great companies always think further than functional benefits. And I can talk for days, because this is one of the subjects I teach at the university's brand strategy and branding. But if you only compete on functional benefits and product characteristics, somebody cheaper, quicker, faster can come and steal your customers. So if you want to establish a real relationship with your customers, you want to have a meaning, you want to form a relationship based on shared values, strong values. Plus, after a while, most companies diversify, go to different businesses, address different segments. And one of my favorite examples, like what would have happened to Sony, for example, the Japanese brand Sony, if they wanted to set up a company based on functional benefits. Do you know what Sony was for to begin with? What did they manufacture? From the very beginning, they built a brand, but if they hadn't built a brand, what would they stand for? What would their meaning be? What were they manufacturing? Do you know what Sony was in Japan? They were selling rice cookers. They were the biggest rice cooker manufacturing company. Imagine if they wanted to set up a company or a marketing strategy based on we manufacture the best rice cookers in the country. Where would they be? Nowhere. Your company is always more than the product you sell, always. Let's see why. This is, you can see this colorful chart with 3 levels, the core product, the expected product, and the augmented product. Let's imagine a shoe, right? Let's say it's a Nike shoe. So the core product is a shoe. If I tell you a shoe, nothing really comes to your mind, just a basic shoe with no brand, right? If I tell you it's a Nike shoe, there is a level of expected product. If I tell you it's a Nike, you expect it to be comfortable, you expect it to be good looking, so it won't go out of fashions very soon. You would expect it to be durable, so if you run in a Nike shoe 4 times, it will not fall apart. So there is a level of the expected product. However, if you have a brand, you have a certain meaning system associated with this product, which we call more complex forms of differentiation. If it's a Nike shoe, then there is a certain meaning to the Nike brand manifested in their logo and tagline, which is just do it, meaning that it doesn't matter that you haven't done sports in 2 years' time, or you are fat, or you are unfit, you can always be better than you were yesterday. And you are your most important competitor. You can be always better if you strive for not excellence, because Nike doesn't say that, but if you strive, you have the courage, you have the determination, you can be better than you were. So this is what the brand is about. So I can start manufacturing shoes tomorrow, right? But it will take a long time and an awful lot of money to compete with Nike, because they built a brand. They are not just a shoe. One of the textbook marketing examples here, when one of the best-selling Chinese shoe brands, Li-Ning, which is actually amazing, I have to tell you, it's much better quality than Nike. They wanted to conquer 10 plus years ago the US market, and they forgot to build a brand. They hired expensive shop space, expensive offices, and they saw they are such a great product, they will be very successful in the States. But they haven't considered that having a Chinese name, and there is nothing because there is no brand, so the only thing they can distinguish themselves is they have a Chinese name. And you know that, made in China, Chinese name, what was it associated with 10 plus years ago? Obviously made in China, probably poor quality, no brand. So they had to declare bankruptcy and they had to withdraw to China because they forgot to build a brand on the US market. So branding is something that startups overlook, and they think, oh, I am just a startup, I can be a brand, but that's not true. You have to build a brand from day one. And I give you a very good piece of advice to do so. How can you identify functional and emotional values in your offering? So I want you to learn something, and I want to show you a really, really useful tool called the values ladder that you might want to use in your groups to identify your functional and emotional benefits. I will show you the ladder and I will show you a live client example of mine. The values ladder is a 4-step thinking process based on the fact that customers don't really buy the product characteristics, customers buy the emotional value that you deliver to them. And there are 4 levels of the values ladder: the attributes, the functional benefits, the emotional benefits, and the emotional value. So the first level is the attribute of what you do. So the characteristics of the product. It's a product description. And then logically from the attributes come the functional benefits. You can see that every step comes logically from the previous one. So these attributes enable certain functional benefits. So these attributes allow customers to do certain things. For example, if you have a waterproof jacket, it allows the customers not to get wet in the rain, right? So this is a functional benefit. They will stay dry. That's a functional benefit, but it doesn't make you a brand. However, there are certain things that coming from the functional benefits, but produce or cause an emotional benefit to your customers. How it makes them feel that they stay dry, or how it makes them feel if they pursue a university course. And if we can stretch our imagination even more and do more thinking, we might even discover another layer of emotional benefit, which we call the ultimate emotional value, which is the ultimate differentiator of your product. Now it's a bit of an abstract concept, but let's introduce it to a live example. This was a client of mine, Kevlar, and you can see on the left-hand side the previous communication, and then on the right-hand side you can see the award-winning billboard campaign that we have done for Kevlar. And there was a very rigorous, solid values ladder-based thinking process in between the two. Can somebody tell me or share with the others what is Kevlar? Do you know what Kevlar is? Has anyone heard of Kevlar?
It's protecting from bullets, for example, very heavy material.
Yeah, exactly, as well. Very good, yes. Yes. Kevlar is like Lycra. It's manufactured by DuPont. It's just like Lycra. Kevlar is a B2B2B brand because you put it in a material. You put Kevlar in a material. It can be a vest. It can be the tire of a car. And Kevlar makes the material very strong, even bulletproof. So you can put Kevlar in materials of workwear, police uniforms, bulletproof vests, even car tires. So it makes the material extremely durable. Let's look at the values ladder we prepared for Kevlar. I am showing you a super simplified version. So Kevlar's attribute, it's an advanced fiber called para-aramid fiber. So that's the product attribute. And as a functional benefit, it gives the material lightweight strength, not in plural, but singular. It gives the material lightweight strength, right? This is the functional benefit. And if you speak German and if you have really good eyes and you can read this lot of texts, which I can't, you see that in the previous communications, this was described quite well. It gives you lightweight strength. However, if we go further on the values ladder, we discover that as a result of lightweight strength, it gives enhanced performance. So you can do more if you have a Kevlar vest or you have Kevlar in your tires, in your auto tires. Enhanced performance, and at the end of the day, there is another layer, which is we call empowerment. So I feel like a real tough guy if I have Kevlar in my clothes, if I have Kevlar in the tire of my car. So I feel like a real tough guy. And you can see it's a really masculine kind of product and brand. And what is really funny, if you really look at this ladder, you might discover that from a B2B2B product, with this thinking, we have made a B2C brand. Because empowerment talks to the final customer. not just the B2B customer, but the final customer who buys the actual product. So we have created a world with lots of pictures, fragrances, impressions to the creative team to create something around raw masculinity, very hard-hitting in the text, in the colors, in the content, which gives this impactful, gritty, darkish image of the new Kevlar brand. You can see guts and Kevlar, it's quite a combination, brains and Kevlar, attitude and Kevlar. You can even feel the sweat, see the sweat on these huge billboards, lots of movement, lots of impact, lots of, attitude. So as you can see, if you think further than functional benefits, it can give you a much richer creative playing field to create a brand, not just the product. So the learnings don't stop at functional benefits. Never stop. Don't be lazy. Have a meaning. Stand for something. Try to be a brand. Especially if you have a great idea. Don't just stuck at being a commodity. And here is going to be our task. Try to, please, all the teams who haven't spoken yet, try to talk to us about the functional benefits of your offering or product. Don't do the ladder now because that will take an hour. You can do it in your teams, but try to just list us and share, please, with us the functional benefits of your offering, product, and the emotional benefits, what it brings emotionally to the customers. So let's share that. Functional and emotional benefits of your offering. And mind you, if you have more than one target segment, and if you think of doing the ladders exercise, you need to do a different ladder to a different segment because you might have a different emotional value. Not necessarily, but might. Anybody who would like to have a go? Now I open the stage to those teams who have already spoken as well. Would you like to share the functional benefits and the emotional benefits? Or you might want to share just the functional benefits and let the team help you with the emotional ones.
I would like to tell, if it's okay for you.
Sure, please go ahead.
By the way, thank you so much for giving the second chance to talk, because you just stopped the talking that who talked before. So as a functional for Smile Pay, we can say the functional is that you're just paying with your face. It's functional. You don't need any kind of devices to pay.
Exactly.
But emotional is for ladies, because in most cases, ladies are worrying about for their kids while they are shopping because their kids wait for them at home. So the emotional side is that we can tell them that instead of keep your babies, kids waiting for you at home, just quickly done your shopping and go home. I think it's the emotional side. You're touching to their psychology with this emotion, with their kids. I think so. I don't. Might be there's another.
Is it peace of mind? Is it control? What is the emotional value? What do you think? Is it more like being in control, or time management, or peace of mind, or what is it?
Emotional. Wow, that's a great question. Just thinking. Let me give me time. I want to just think about it.
No, it's a very difficult question, and probably you need to see that with your team. You need to brainstorm together.
Yes, exactly.
There are these things that seem so easy once you get it, but it takes time and lots of brainstorming to get there.
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. So, but yes, that's right. I can see that you can separate it really well. And through the emotional values, you can build a connection with your targets. And this is how you can build loyalty. because they will be loyal to you, even if there is a cheaper alternative coming to them.
Yes, of course, Ms. Eva, in most cases, we just always focus on making value. If you have a value, they don't care about the pricing more. Of course, they are caring, but no more about, yeah.
Yes, I have done lots of research and study about, price sensitivity, and that's true. If you have a brand, you can ask for on average in FMCG 30% of price premium versus a white label, own label, private label product. That's true. That's true. Anybody else who would like to have a go? Please, ladies and gentlemen, take the opportunity to talk about it. There is no right or wrong answer. Have a go.
Can I start?
Please do.
So the functional benefits of our application is I think the determination of the problems of the plants, and also the healing schedule of the plants. And emotional, I think the happiness for our plants, I think, if it's a correct answer, I don't know. I think happiness, satisfaction.
Exactly. And you also need to, that's really, really good way to think about it, but you have to maybe brainstorm it with your team and specify it, because maybe there is a story about, nurturing something.
Mm-hmm.
So what is it that
thank you.
Yes.
So yeah, of course, we need to do that. Yeah.
But it's really good way to think about it, and it's a really good start. Great. Any other teams who would like to chip in and share your functional and emotional benefits?
May I do that?
Please do.
Okay. So my name is Rufat. I'm the founder of School Plus Online School. So I think the functional benefit of School Plus Online School is that we create like equal access for quality education. We encourage the kids to explore their interests and potentials and learn real world skills. And then emotional, I believe it's that the parents want to see their kids' success, as every parent is like dreaming about it. And I think that's the emotional benefit.
That's a really, really, really good point. Exactly. And the parents are your target segment?
Exactly. Yes.
And is there like something, because I was working with a very similar company, different product, but quite similar, education, parents target market. Is there a thing in your country as well, being disappointed in the education system, not being sure that the education system provides the right education for the future for your kid?
Yeah. Basically, I'm the one also who is not like satisfied. That's why I started School Plus, because I believe schools and the universities didn't teach me the skill that I really needed in my real life, in the real world. So that's why I started School Plus. And till today, like a lot of people are not satisfied, and they're not chasing the major, for example, that they're studying, or major that they're choosing after the school. So they like kind of study for 4 years. They waste their years like studying at the program that they don't want to chase in the future.
And what does your school teach, may I ask?
Basically, it's a lot of programs. So we are aiming like on the platform to provide thousands of programs, but that's not like a marketplace. So we want to control the quality and everything. So we teach with local and foreign instructors. We teach like mental math, speedy reading, then also different skills like professional skills, but at the age of the kids. Even though we are working with not only kids, with teenagers as well. So our like kids age are from 4 to 18, but we are trying to equip them with enough skills so that even though if they don't own any profession, they will be able to survive in the difficult situations.
Great. And you are targeting parents solely?
Mostly mothers.
Mostly mothers. You don't target schools. Schools are not your target segments.
Honestly, at the moment, no, but we are thinking about cooperation with schools. We really want to do, because our programs, anyway, curriculum doesn't conflict with their curriculum. So that's why we have a great potential to do that with them.
Because my client also ended up, after our project, doing teacher training materials for schools.
Oh, nice.
They were teaching the basically teaching teachers, like preparing. They had like this manual for teachers to teach, because it was
That's
about
great, because we need teachers. We need good teachers here, especially like who are having like updated knowledge. So because we are also lack of that teaching training centers that can provide learning opportunities for the teachers.
Great idea. Great. Thank you so much. Great idea. Thank you.
Thank you too.
Anybody else who would like to share the functional and emotional benefits? Anyone? No one? Okay, maybe next time. Let's talk about very briefly the key messages and the media choice. So now you have your targets, you have your value proposition, you have the functional and the emotional benefits, and based on the emotional benefits, you can create clear and focused messages. Clear and focused, very important. Clear messages and focused messages for your targets, and provide some really consistent storytelling, because storytelling is always very powerful. Usually your marketing message, sometimes it can have functional elements, but it's always based on functional and emotional benefits or value you deliver. Often, even with the same product, you can have very different messages to different segments. And now we are going from brainy strategic things to more like the creative delivery, the creative communications. This is, I know, a large company, but we have spoken about Nike. So I want to illustrate you the Nike messaging system. So you can see that this just do it, you can always be better than you used to be, thinking how it can be translated to their 3 different segments. Their segments are quite generic, but they are a very large company. So first of all, they have a ladies segment. They called it ladies segment because of a product decision, because the athleisure segment, the athleisure, which is wearing athletic clothes for leisure purposes for weekends, is very strong. And this is their most profitable segment, by the way, the ladies segment for Nike. So for the ladies segment, the just do it is translated like being unconventional. So here, for example, you see an ad about a Nike ballerina who says pink is not for me because she likes to do it her way. She likes to do it colorful because she's an unconventional type of ballerina. She's a Nike ballerina. So for the ladies segment, the key message is whatever creative I put here would be being unconventional. And then they have the second one, the ad in black is a representative or their professional sports segment. Professional sports is about changing the game. And you might recall these big advertising campaigns with very famous footballers, like what goes on in Wayne Rooney's mind, who is an English footballer, before he scores a goal, his childhood, his failures, his matches that he won, matches he lost, and what goes on in his mind before he scores the winning goal, and how they can changing the game. So change the game, that's the key message to that segment. And then I'm showing you a super, super controversial creative here. And I wanted to show you the film, but because we have such a short version, session, you can watch the film in your own time. Their third segment is the running segment. This is the heritage segment of Nike. This is where they spend the most money. You can think of the Nike Fuel Band, the digital innovations that Nike came up with. So they have a lot of budget there to spend. And the runner segment, this is where the key message is, it doesn't matter when you start, just keep going. When you start, where you start, who you are, it doesn't matter until you keep going. And the most controversial ad, and that won the most awards basically as well, is a really great ad with no music. And it's an overweight kid with Down syndrome who keeps running. And they have a really powerful storytelling behind it. If you watch the film on YouTube, you can find it, Find Your Greatness. Very short film, maybe half a minute, very powerful storytelling about keeping going, not giving up. this is the core message for the running segment, because there are lots of amateur runners among their target group. So, and then, again, something I would really like you to watch in your free time. It's a really good example of a startup. It's a small hardware store in Wales, in the UK. And they spent 200 British pounds, which is around $300, not even, to buy the music rights. And they filmed a YouTube film, a Christmas campaign, they call it. In England, you know, I used to live in the UK, so in England, it's very customary that all these big stores have these really huge Christmas campaigns. They are spending millions, hundreds of millions of pounds for their campaigns like Marks and Spencer, Waitrose. And there came this small store in Wales who spent 200 pounds and they filmed it with a handheld camera, and they got more million views than Marks and Spencer, and they became an instant success. And Prince Charles visited them. It was a huge story because they filmed a really nice film, just talking about messaging and being a startup and having the excuse not to have the budget. Your creativity can be very powerful. And I'm going to send you the presentation. Please watch the Hafod hardware film. It's really beautifully shot. And it can prove that you can create your own content. And the last thing I want to talk about is your media choice. And I hope I can inspire you with lots of great examples how you can use media creatively. Digital communications make it possible for you to try a lot of things and stop things that won't work and keep things going if it works. This is what we call fluid communication strategies, because you can beta test, you can see what message works better for one target. You can use Facebook for example, A/B testing. And if one gets more views than the other, just keep on doing the one which is more successful. So this is something that you always have to have in mind, that things are fluid, especially in digital. You don't have to decide, you try and keep doing what works best for you. In general, we talk about 3 different types of media. First and foremost, you have your own media, your own website, your own blog, your own stores, your own newsletters. But the bad news is your own new media usually are aimed at customers who are already your customers. So in all times, companies used a lot of paid media to attract customers. They use TV, radio, paid newspaper articles. However, lines are blurring. You can use, for example, influencers. Or what I really like to use in digital, search engine optimization and search marketing, where only paid for, you set a budget and you only pay for those ads that customers click on. Pay-per-click advertising. It's a really good way of spending your budget, depending on your strategy, of course. And then if you are really successful and you use media in a very clever way, you can get earned media, which is something for free. For example, our Welsh store got a lot of earned media. They were even featured in the news on BBC. Free PR, word of mouth, they blog about you, they write about you, they share your content. I don't know how popular this was in Azerbaijan, but in the UK it was super popular when Volvo shot this ad for the Volvo trucks with Jean-Claude Van Damme doing the magic split between 2 Volvo trucks. And that was, even I am not a target customer, I am not a truck buyer, I am never on the Volvo truck, but even I shared this ad. It was so beautifully shot, so free sharing. And lots of companies use customer reviews, customer feedback to promote their products. So this is what we call earned media. So we have 3 types of media we can use. And here, I might want to show you very briefly, it's only 3 minutes, a really amazing example how you can create millions and millions of free media for you yourself from a very small amount of money. So the only thing, because I was really thinking which one I want to show you, but this I want to show you. Because how you can promote something from a very small budget, in this case, they wanted to promote tourism in Queensland, which is a very small island near Australia. They were targeting experience seekers, and they managed to get a lot of user-generated content. That's another very important marketing word, UGC, user-generated content. For Lego, believe it or not, 70–80% of the content Lego creates is user-generated. So basically, the customers create media for free. And in case of Tourism Australia, everything was, apart from the initial advertising, which was a newspaper ad, everything was created for free.
For work? Well, you may want to consider moving to Australia.
Australia's Tourism Bureau looking to fill what it is calling the best job in the world.
Could this be your new office? Hamilton Island, off the coast of Queensland, needs a caretaker.
Duties include feeding ocean fish, cleaning a pool, and collecting deliveries of mail.
It comes with a rent-free 3-bedroom villa with plunge pool.
All this and a salary of about $8,800 a month. As you might imagine, the regional director says response to the ad has been overwhelming.
Apart from being a very clever way to publicise an extremely beautiful part of Australia, I think what this position reflects is a desire to say to the world, look, this is a wonderful place to come and travel to.
And all you have to do is write a weekly blog.
That can't be right.
There's no catch. This is a real job.
I'd be very good at it.
You'd have to remember to feed the fish.
Video applications, including one from the Vatican.
All applicants have to do is submit a 60-second video to this website, islandreefjob.com.
Hi, I'm John, and I'm a police officer in England. You can tell by the silly hat.
I come from the ice tundra of the world.
It's really cold here in Connecticut, and I'd love to go to your paradise.
My dad was the great entertainer, Mr. Dean Martin.
Or do you think all we do is eat sausages and sauerkraut? Well, let me prove you wrong, because I'm definitely not one of them.
Yoo-hoo! Yoo-hoo! Here I am.
Here in the north of Sweden, the sea is covered with ice. So if you want to go snorkeling, you need an icebreaker.
So we're going to allow the public to vote for their favourite candidate. We'll pick another 10. We'll fly them across to Hamilton Island for a final interview and then pick the successful candidate.
It's very tempting.
What do you sign up for that one,
Yeah,
huh?
it sounds like tough work there.
Watch the whales.
So if you're not here tomorrow.
They accepted me. I don't think so.
Australia.
Yeah, right.
Oh, man.
So, ladies and gentlemen, what do you think? What do you think about it? What is it that you really liked about it? What was the mechanism of the campaign?
Publicity?
Yes, but how did they reach the publicity? What did they do? What is it they paid for? What did they do? And what was outsourced? What did, very cleverly, they let people do the most of the job, right?
It's like a dream come true. Everybody wants to have a best job in the world, and this phrase "best job of the world" made the job.
Exactly, and also, so how many they submitted 35,000 videos, and who watched the videos? Did they watch the videos?
I'm not sure.
No, the public voted. So it was a public vote. So they didn't even watch. They just watched those videos at the agency, the tourism agency. Those videos only which were rated top. So they outsourced everything, making the videos, sending in the videos, rating the videos. They outsourced it. So user-generated content was rated and selected by other users.
Basically, they spent $1 and they got feedback for millions of dollars, I think. So,
exactly. So the return on investment was immense. It was immense. It was really a wonderful way to spend your budget, and it was so successful. I don't know about the pandemic, but before the pandemic, it has been going on every single year for 10 years. It was so successful.
Great, just great, really. Even I've heard it. I've heard about this best job in the world as well.
Really?
That was somewhere. Yeah, that was somewhere on TV. And not on TV, on the internet somehow. It's familiar, very familiar. But really, that's great.
But make sure that you create ideas that people like to share, they like to comment on, so people generate content for you. That's really, really important. If you have creative ideas and lots of creative thinking behind it, it doesn't matter you are a startup, honestly. So I want to inspire you and encourage you to come up with great ideas. And the last thing I want to show you before I sum it up.
May I just add one comment here?
Please do.
Madam Halash. Well, it's a great advertisement. I understand why it's so tempting and how they manage to generate so much user-generated content. But you need one element in order to make this campaign successful. You need a beautiful island with beaches, with coral reefs, and this is probably something that we startuppers often don't have. Of course, we have a splendid, innovative solution, but I think for the public imagination, the coral reefs, beautiful sunsets, exotic fishes, and you know, and all other environmental elements are very hard to emulate. So
yes,
if I were the author, I'm sorry for being nosy and super arrogant, but if I were an author or you or anybody today in our seminar would be an author of this advertisement, I think we would be similarly successful, because the product they had was golden, was diamond.
But there are a lot of islands, and all of them could have done it, but didn't. And a lot of beautiful islands for that. Hundreds.
The thing is, the idea is great. I mean, as you said, that there are lots of islands, but the idea is really.
It is the idea that makes it compelling. And
exactly,
if you watch the Hufford hardware ad, the Christmas ad, there are so many hardware stores. So this is my point, to make yourself a brand. Even if you have something that exists on the market. And I was giving you a very extreme example, you know, the Dove products, FMCG, shampoos, body lotions, not even a good product. And still, with a great idea and great communications, it became a great brand, and the sales just shot up. So great communications and great marketing always helps you, and great ideas.
But you know, sometimes I'm thinking that today's world, which is we have lots of social media types and so, and in some cases, the great ideas or the great advertisements doesn't catch the trend. That's the problem. I mean, for instance, we have a company and we made the advertisement, but we couldn't catch a trend. That's the problem, you know.
Just any advertisement, you need a great, or a great content.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be an
Yes.
advertisement.
Yeah, exactly. You are right. But a person just take their phone and make a selfie and saying that something, I mean, something motivation or something like that. Oh, after one day, millions of views. How it happens? I paid like 10,000 euro for advertising, but the person who has no any foundation for the advertisement gets 1 million views. You know, today's social media works so different, and you have to really analyze and reanalyze a lot.
Exactly, and that's why you are
the
absolutely right. But that's why you have to be very specific about your target segment.
exactly. You're right.
Because obviously there is this big, I'm not telling you whom, a big supermarket who is on TikTok. But why? There is no, TikTok is super expensive for companies. It requires you to push content out every 2-3 days, spend a lot of money, and they don't even have a teenage audience. So why on earth are they on TikTok? There is no reason for that. So the key is, who is your target and how do you reach your target? What communities you want to create for your target? Creating communities is very important. Just advertising, you can have a great idea, but honestly, creating communities, user-generated content, involving people, you really need to think about that if you want to make it. Unless you have a product which cannot be imitated by anyone ever. The last thing I want to show you, and I think it's really, really useful. I stole it from YouTube, and I should have told this here. It's not in the slide, but YouTube is working with that framework, so I stole it from YouTube. You know, I do a lot of digital media and marketing stuff, and I really like the thinking of YouTube. Basically, what YouTube says, if you communicate, if you do marketing, you always have to think of 3 levels. First, you want to create, they call it hero content, to make yourself famous. And this is, you need to talk to people who are not your customers. So in this, you talk to everybody. And what I mentioned in the Tourism Australia example, the Hefford hardware example, even the Dove example, you create, or the Volvo ad with Jean-Claude Van Damme, is not targeted communications, because it talks to everybody. Even those people will talk about it who will never buy from you, because it just to make you famous, so people hear of you. So it talks to a larger audience. And it's not just advertising. It can be advertising, or it can be anything. For example, there is a bank in Germany called N26, and their hero communications is just 8 minutes. This is what they say, 8 minutes, because you can do everything in 8 minutes. So this is hero communications, to create fame. And then you have the hub communications, and this is where you can do a really good job as a startup. So when Volvo was doing this big ad with Jean-Claude Van Damme, they also had a website called Brian's Truck Reports. And Brian is a very famous truck journalist, and he was writing fascinating articles about trucks. You could learn about test drives. So it's regularly published content. And while people usually tend to avoid advertising, if you provide something which is based on the passion and the interest of people, they look forward to it. I am sure, guys, you yourselves are reading a lot of hub content. I usually read the McKinsey Quarterly, which is free of charge. It's very useful content for me, and I look forward to receiving it. I would never unsubscribe because it's meaningful to me. And for example, my client in the educational, the school example, they were writing content for parents, how to choose the right school, what skills are required for the future, because parents were super interested learning about that. And then the last one is the help content. Help content is helping the transaction, is helping the engagement. I would add, it's not coming from YouTube, I would add, I think there are 2 kinds of help content in real life. One of them is like helping the transaction, especially online. For example, you can ask questions. There is a chat bot. You can call a number. They answer your question. So it helps the transaction in general. And then the other help content is the how-to content. For example, how to do a makeup, like how-to videos, how to assemble an IKEA furniture. You find videos about that. So helping the product use, the actual use of the product. So always think about these 3 levels of content. So if you have a target segment, you have the key messages. And then you want to use your paid on-earned media, always think another layer. How can I create hero content to make myself known? How can I create hub content to involve my targets and make them come back? And then how can I make have the transaction and the product use? And what the last thing I want to share with you, what I really encourage you to do, obviously depending on your business, what I find really useful in digital marketing in particular, to do like podcasts or conferences online, even a half an hour or 20-minute short talk, which is useful and it's free. And then you can collect a lot of emails because people pay for their participation with their email addresses and contact numbers. So you can start building your customer database. Plus, you can involve your customers by talking about a topic, maybe for 10, 20 minutes they are really interested in. So create either a live conference if you have a budget or an online one, and keep building your database because they pay for the participation with their email and contacts. So I really encourage you to try it. And as a conclusion, as a homework for you guys, try to do your media plan and think of how you connect with your customers, how you can make your customers do specific actions. It can be purchase or looking at your website, so converting them to become customers. And then when you have customers, how you keep engaging them. And try to construct your own little triangles, hero, hub, and help content. This is your homework. And to sum up our session, we spoke about, I want you to remember 5 things from today's session. Your value proposition, first of all, should be based on the job customers will hire you for. Always keep that in mind. Never give just a functional description. Second, try to gather insight, knowledge about your customers beyond your product, beyond yes or no questions. Third, segment, find your beachhead segment. The next one, number 4, is about functional and emotional benefits. Always think of emotional benefits as well, besides functional benefits. Try to become a brand, form key messages. And the 5th one, try to build a full content ecosystem with hero, hub, and help content, and try to use user-generated content as much as possible. Make your customers create content for you and build your customer database. So, ladies and gentlemen, any questions at this point? No questions? Then feel free to reach out to me if you wish to, if you have questions. If you know, wake up 3 o'clock in the morning. Oh, I attended this short lecture. I have a question to Eva. So Katarina will kindly or can kindly distribute my email if you have any questions. Other than that, I am going to share this presentation with you. Try to watch the short videos that we didn't manage to watch. It's like maybe 6 more minutes of your time. And I hope you found this useful for your marketing plan.
Yeah, I found it very interesting and useful, even though I was only in the background here and, you know, trying not to take the space from the startups. But on behalf of all the startups, all the participants and Startup Hub Poland and other partners in the project, I would like to thank you so much. Also on behalf of the Visegrad Fund, who is the founder of the project, and thanks to which we can actually be here today. And I see Hassan has a question, so I will let Hassan speak.
Sorry, thank you. I was away for a couple of minutes. Maybe I misheard it. Is it possible to get this presentation somehow?
Definitely, I'm going to just send it over to Kasia, and she will share it with you. Of course, definitely.
Really?
And I encourage you to reread it, please.
Sorry?
And I encourage you to reread it.
Ah, yeah, I'll do. It's very good.
I encourage you
very
to do
much.
the exercises with your teams, because probably some of your team members couldn't make it, and it would be fun. Just, you know, team away day or team building exercise. Just do the exercises with your team. That would be really useful.
That's why I was asking. Thank you very much.
Yeah, definitely do that. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. All the best, and reach out to me if you have any questions. Okay. Best wishes. Bye bye.
Of course. Thank you very much.
Thank
Eva.
you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kasia, for moderation. And to you, my friends from Azerbaijan, some of you are living already, but please remember, you have already benefited from 2 workshops during Budapest chapter. In order to be to have really good chance in front of the jury members who will going to appoint 10 startups to participate in the demo day, we need to see each other also for 2 next meetings, one in Thursday, tomorrow, run by Nora Wagner-Varady, mentioned today, and the other one 1 week later. So please make sure in your calendars, in your schedules, that you will be there, because it will be very hard for the jury members to appoint a great, even the best startup to the demo day, to the Budapest chapter demo day, if you will not be attending the next 2 meetings. I know it's you like these meetings. I received some emails and some nice comments from you. I'm happy, but yet please just don't forget about it and click the accept the invitation that you have in your calendars. It was sent by Sophia some times ago, and make everything you can to be sure that you will be there with us. And I'm very happy for the next bootcamp workshop, as much as for this one delivered by Eva. Really magnificent. So thank you again, and thanks, Kasia, as always, for an outstanding moderation. Thank you guys for super nice discussions. I also liked examples and cases. I'm going to watch the video as well. Ciao.